Hey everyone, do you have sections 1 and section 2 all complete? You ready for more? So you guys, I just ate breakfast not too long ago, and for you, I made an ice cream sundae. I have to tell you, I'm not going to actually eat it. I did take a bite though, but the rest is going in the freezer, maybe after dinner. So if you are on track, then you have section 1 complete and now section 2 complete, and it's time to move on to the last section. So there's only, I think I counted 4 blocks that we need to do. How cool is that? All right, so the first one is called Melted. So if you saw the video, the fabric prep video, the very first video after the announcement video for this project, I talked about a little error, difficulty, something not super clear about this block. So it was, if you recall, it was the light peach. That one turned out to be an issue on the fabric prep video, but figured out close enough of what will work. So let's go ahead and talk about what we need for today. So for the melted block, it's our first block of section 3. It's actually our 17th block, and it is on page 31 of the PDF. So we are going to start with this really pretty pink star fabric. How fun is this? And notice it is a big one. It's not too wide, but it is long. So you do want to use your fusible stabilizer on the back to make sure to ward off puckers. So this one, we are going to start with this at 6.5 by 12.5. That's large. 6.5 by 12.5 for this pink star fabric, for our main fabric. 6.5 by 12.5. All right, and then let's talk about the applique pieces that we will need. So the first one is ice cream 1. So that is the chocolate looking ice cream, and we are going to start with one piece that is at 2.5 by 3.5, and I did back all of these with fusible stabilizer. So 2.5 by 3.5 for the first one, and then the next one, which is the melting part of that ice cream sundae, that one is 2 by 2.5. 2 by 2.5 for that, and it's the same. Notice you have the regular piece, like the cone of it, not the cone, the ice cream part of it, and then the melted part. Okay, so 2 by 2.5 for that second piece. And then for the ice cream 2, that one is the pink. It's like a very light peach pink. That's that one that we had a little difficulty with. It wasn't super clear on the directions. So the first one is 2.5 by 3.5, 2.5 by 3.5 for ice cream 2 fabric. And then this is the one that got a little confusing. The melting ice cream number 2. On page 6 of the diagram, it shows that we need 2.5 by 3.5, but on the directions on the PDF, it says 3 by 3. So it was not clear on which size that we need. And you know, Kimberbell always makes things a little bit bigger anyway, so I don't think you need to stress about it. Like, don't freak out about it. I ended up, looks like I did mine at 3.5 by 3. I gave it extra space just in case. So I did 3.5 by 3. I did back these with fusible stabilizer. Now notice on these light colored ones, they look pretty much the same on both sides. So there's a couple things you can do. First off, you're going to want to make sure that it is right side up when you put it down. The other thing that you can do to help, I didn't do it here, but you can make it a little bit smaller so that you can see which side is the back. That helps to be more clear on which side is the front, which side is the back. But just be careful when you put this down, make sure that it is right side up. So like I said, I did 3.5 by 3. In the directions on the PDF, it says 3 by 3, and on the directions on page 6 of the PDF, it shows 2.5 by 3.5. So you can see right here, I wrote a little note. So on this part of it, it's 3 by 3. So I kind of just made it a little bit bigger just in case. And like I said, the Kimberbell fabrics are always just a little bit bigger anyway. I don't think it'll be a problem. So it is that light peach pink one, and I did 3.5 by 3. All right, and then Flexifoam. So that Flexifoam on the cart came out so cute yesterday. I was loving that. That was a really good suggestion from Kathy Tooley for the cart. This one, it is called for, so we don't have to make any changes to it. So on the Flexifoam, we're going to have this under both of the ice creams. And so 2 by 3.5, and we want 2 of them. 2 by 3.5. One is for ice cream 1, one is for ice cream 2. 2 by 3.5 for the Flexifoam. All right, and then the last thing is the white embroidery leather. White embroidery leather. And this we are going to use for dish 1 and dish 2. And we are going to start with them at 2.5 by 4. Both of them are 2.5 by 4. So this way, because it's going to be sideways, I guess. So 2.5 by 4, 2 of them, and you're all set. Those are the only pieces that we need. This is a big one, so there's a couple more things to talk about. There are special cut instructions. We'll go over that as we get to that part, but we are going to quilt this, so I'll go over that. But first, let's start with our batting. So whenever we quilt, we use batting, and our batting, since our final cut size of this is 10.5 by 4.5, that means we want a piece of batting that is 11 by 5. 11 by 5 for your batting. And again, I am using the Kimberbell project batting. So 11 by 5 for your batting. All right, so let's talk about the quilting. So those of us with a big hoop, you can use whatever bigger hoop that you want to. We are going to use a quilting design that is 10, sorry, that's the final cut size. We're going to use a quilting design that is 10 by 4. So 10 by 4 on the quilting. So I'll probably use my 7 by 12 hoop. I generally would probably use, but let me give you a few tips. If you are using a 6 by 10 hoop, if your biggest hoop is a 6 by 10, take out steps 3 and 4 of the quilting design. That is the placement and tack down of the main fabric. You don't need those. Those are nice to have, and we use them all the time, but if it's going to make it so you can't use your hoop or you have to double hoop, if you have a 6 by 10, just take out those 2 steps. I use Brilliance Essentials. You just click on it, click delete. I've shown it in several videos. Super easy to just take out those steps. And when you take them out, then you would just tape down your fabric, tape it in place. And that works great. So if you have a 6 by 10 hoop, that's your workaround. Take out steps 3 and 4 of the quilting. And like I said, that is the placement and tack down of the main fabric. So if you have a 5 by 7 hoop, though, you will need to double hoop this to get the full quilting. Because like I said, you want quilting that is 10 by 4. So you would just do 2 quilting designs. And that's easy to do. So I forgot to mention. So for those of us using a 7 by 12 hoop or even a 6 by 10 hoop, you can use lines 5. That's the one with all the lines that makes it look like an ice cream cone. So that's what I'm going to use on mine, and we're going to use it in size 4 by 10 quilting design, and I'm using lines 5. So if you're going to double hoop, though, if you have a 5 by 7 hoop and you're going to double hoop, you do not want to use lines 5. Do not use lines 5. And the reason is because it is an orange design. So what that means is that the quilting goes off into the seam allowance. And that's great, and it doesn't matter one way or another unless you're double hooping. If you're double hooping, it's a problem because then it'll go on top of the first hooping. So you don't want to use an orange design. And you can look on the Kimberbell website. They are all stitched out on either blue fabric or orange fabric so that you can easily tell which ones are orange and which ones are blue. The blue designs are what I call standalone designs. Everything is within its own box. So that will be great for double hooping. So any of the blue designs, my personal recommendation would be food 4. So the reason I suggest that is because we didn't use it. So the next one, if I recall, the section 3 is going to go right here, and it's not already, we didn't already use food 4. So I wouldn't want to do one that is right next to one that we've already done. So I personally would do food 4 for this part. And it is a blue design, so you don't have to worry about double hooping, and it would make it simple. So food 4, if you're using a 5 by 7 hoop. For everyone else, you could use the food 5. No, lines 5. Sorry, my mistake. Lines 5. My ice cream my spoon dropped. Anyway, lines 5 in 4x10. If you're double hooping, like I said, you want to use food 4 or any blue design, but you want to do 2 hoopings in 4x6 and 4x4. That would give you the 4x10 quilting design, quilting size that you need. So not an orange, not an orange design, any blue design. I also have a video that talks all about the differences of blue designs versus orange designs and clear blue tiles designs versus block by block designs. If you're confused by that, I have a video. I will link to it. I think it actually goes on this side, but I will link to that. And like I said, if you have a 6x10 hoop, just take out steps 3 and 4 and we should be all good to go. So one other thing is that there's a specific design. If you're using a 5x7 hoop for this design, there is a specific design on the CD. Was that a CD? Yeah, on the CD that has a version in 5x7. This one that I'm going to work off of is the 6x10. So you'll need to make sure to use the 5x7 design if you're using a 5x7 hoop. Otherwise, make sure to choose the 6x10 one. There has been some confusion on that. I get messages that say, mine doesn't have this or that. Make sure you're using the right file. All right, so I think we're good to go. We are going to work on melted and make sure and have your ice cream. So I made a little ice cream sundae of cookies and cream ice cream with caramel sauce. I could also add in sprinkles and waffle cone pieces because our sponsor, My Girlfriend's Quilt Shop, even sent me those. How cute are they? So all kinds of fun stuff. I'm going to put this back in the freezer and enjoy it tonight after dinner. Not quite yet. But anyway, let's go ahead and get started having fun with our embroidery.